All right, so previously I've talked about some of the barriers of building and developing new habits. So today I'm going to talk about another one, which is starting too big. So when we have a habit we have this great idea or want to do something, and it usually is some big thing we want to accomplish. Now, usually we experience these things at New Year's, when we make New Year's resolutions, or birthdays when we think, oh, another year wasted, so I'm going to do all these great things. Sometimes it's because you've got some bad news, like you've gone to the doctor or your accountant, or maybe your spouse has a few things to say about your shape you're in, something like that. These type of things all add up to you wanting to make some great big change. And then there's the positive ones where you go to a motivating seminar or something like that, and you feel like all motivated that you're going to change your life in 90 days or something. And that's all great and fantastic. But that's when you make these big motivational decisions, right? When your motivation is really high. And after hearing these type of things, you have hope, right? It's a new year, it's a new something or other, something's new, right? Or I've talked about previously, you're trying to get away from a bad situation, so you're motivated to do that. Your desire is to get away from that situation, so you're motivated highly to resolve an issue. The challenge, of course, is this type of motivation doesn't last very long. We got to remember what motivation is. It's desire plus belief. So yes, after coming home from a conference and seeing some schlep guy do some great motivational talk, you're really motivated. You have this great belief that you can do something, or desire that you can do it. And then when you try and do some of it, you come up against a brick wall and you realize, oh, I don't really have the skills needed to do this. So your belief goes down. And when your belief goes down, your motivation goes down. And then you're no longer super motivated to do these great big things. So this motivation that you have from these experiences is not bad. It's a temporary motivation. You have to recognize it for what it is. It's a temporary type of motivation. And so what do you use that motivation for? That's a good question. What you use that motivation for is to develop your plans, so you can actually develop the habits you want. So when you develop plans, that means you got to sit down and you have to think, okay, what is it that I want? What is the goal? We talked about goals previously. If this is my goal, then it can't be too far away and it can't be too soon, right? It has to be challenging. When we talk about goals being SMART goals, right, they have to be challenging. If they're not challenging, then your brain isn't going to be involved in it and it's going to quit. So you take your plan, you've come up with all the different actions you need to make that goal a reality, and then you just determine what order you're going to do them in, and then you start developing those little habits into the big goal. And that way you can see progress quickly. If you try and do all your habits at once, it's not going to work, right? It's too many changes at once. We have to remember, big changes are a whole bunch of little changes all stuck together. So if you want to have a big change in your life, you have to break that big change down. That's what the plan is. Break that change down into smaller little goals, weekly actions, daily actions, and once you've got that in place, you organize it in a method in which you think you can actually do it. Putting the easy ones first, maybe, so that you can get some momentum. And once you've got some momentum and you see that you're actually doing those things, you're working towards your big goal, then you're going to be motivated to continue. And then you just keep on adding those little actions and developing them into habits, and then you'll be golden. So that's the trick. The trick is use your big motivation that you have coming home from the conference or the New Year's resolution for developing the plan to make the tiny changes you have to change. And then once you've done those tiny changes, you'll have the big thing in the long run. But it doesn't happen immediately, and you have to see progress as you go. All right, so we'll talk about the next one next time.